Yeah, what's good, man? How you doing, Demetri, bro?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, brother?
And just being grateful, man. It's been a while, man, since we spoke. How are things, man?
Everything's going well, my friend. Just progressing, financially and emotionally and mentally. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
still got some work to do, so I just take things one step at a time, man.
I respect that, G. I respect that. So I'm honored to have you here for this topic today. Just trying to have this conversation and open up like dialogue. So today's topic is um, powerful and unbeatable, and I wanted to just kind of just lead in a way so you just get the vibe for what I mean by that. So, um, like being powerful isn't from a strength standpoint of like physicality, like what most people might think. I see powerful from a sense of inner strength, like, and even though there's been like some sayings like how your body looks is maybe how you feel inside, but mostly my perspective, power comes from your inner space and it comes from God, and that power, especially for Black people, indigenous people around the world, is what we feel. I feel like we feel inside innately. As small children, we just feel this deep connection to this inner strength that comes out in dance, it comes out in art, it comes out in math and reading and sciences, and we have so much expression for uh, this being that we are and this lineage that we've been a part of for so long that I think when we think about our ancestors' power, right, and how powerful they were to endure their time period, we always honor them. But I think it's really about that time that we start honoring the men of this generation too, the Black men that are in this time period during COVID, during racial tension and all kind of stuff. Like, you know, um, it's going to take a degree of power that is already in us because shit, we alive, we here, and we doing all we can for the people we love and stuff like that. That's power. I don't see power as like having something over someone else. That's not power. That's a weakness. You know, like if I gotta do something wicked and demonic to put some other person underneath my spell, just so that I can survive. Like how do we get ahead as a community? How you get ahead as a person? You don't. Like as soon as someone figure out the scheme, it always comes apart. That's why when folks are like, nah, I'm just trying to X, Y, and Z. Yeah, maybe for the time, but like people who like have wisdom is like after a while, like the best way to use your power would be wisdom. Would be seeking God's wisdom and seeing what He could bestow upon you bit by bit, because He doesn't reveal everything. That's why I really try to humble myself and be open to learn, especially for people like you. You know, like you've been somebody who's been very supportive and very empowering, talking about power and especially about music and supporting artists that are emerging, even your own art. Because you know what the journey is like. That to me is power. Right. That's power used. Like, if you didn't have the ability to do it, you wouldn't grab for it. You wouldn't be like, yo, you can really do this shit, bro. Like, I don't care what nobody's saying. You really got the skills and you can articulate it. Like, oh man. Like, what do you think? What's your perspective on power?
Well, my perspective on power is, I mean, man, power can be recognized from a spiritual standpoint, a mental standpoint, in two ways mentally actually. Like you can use your telepathy, you can use your mental power to just think about things, and what I'm saying is kind of parallel to what you're saying. It's the God in you, you know what I'm saying, and things into existence. It has been times in my life, man, where I think about somebody now, either get a phone call from them or they show up. Power is not just not like a physical power, like it's beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, everybody got a physical power. There are powers that are evil also, but those powers are just like what you said. They don't last long. It's only a spell that's being cast on somebody, and they have manipulation and evil evil powers, and some people use intimidation, fear as a weapon of choice. Some people use both manipulation and intimidation. And some people use violence. That's a form of power. You know what I'm saying? And it's a form of power that has been used against us throughout this whole century, the 19th century. You know what I'm saying? It has been used against us. You know what I'm saying? The 20th century also. I mean, even love is a form of power. You know what I'm saying? We can sit back and think about, just me taking the time out, or you taking the time out just to do what you're doing now. That's a form of power. You know what I'm saying? Because you doing it for the love of it, and I'm doing, like, whenever I talk to you and I see you in a certain mind state, whether it be up or down, I'm gonna try to bring you up even higher. You know what I'm saying? You could be right in the middle and be like, hey man, I'm feeling all right, and I'm gonna try to lift you up even higher. You know what I'm saying? You might be on the flatlands, and I'm gonna put you on the hill. You know what I'm saying? But I want you to also look up at that mountain. That's what we trying to get. You know what I'm saying? So it's all forms of power, man. And it's a yin and a yang when it comes to power. It's pros and cons when it comes to power. But with everything that we get in life, man, it comes responsibility. A lot of us can't handle that, and that's why a lot of things get twisted up.
Yeah, and that's powerful, bro, because there's been many encounters of like us trying to figure out as just as a people, like me and my faith is rooted in Jesus Christ, and I've started off that way, like growing up, and I didn't think of, I want to go to heaven and I want to do all those things. Yes, those are obviously the perks, but early on in my life, I had this hatred for the devil. I remember my mother told me this story that I got up and I just went straight to the pastor while they were calling people to the altar. And he was like, there's a little boy coming up, like, be baptized. And they asked me, like, why do you want to be baptized? I was like, because I hate the devil. And I was like, it was like, that's crazy. But, like, I just didn't know what I meant. I didn't know what I was talking about. But I just knew I just disliked wickedness. I always loved goodness. I always loved the righteousness in others. Like, people always inspired me, who, like, sparkled to me. Like, in my eyes, I'm like, dang, that person could do this and that person could do that. So when you see, like, the goodness and all the other stuff, it's not a weakness. That's a power. Some people say that you should see the worst in someone and let them prove to you. I also look at that as witchcraft or like a spell, because you can never convict someone else. Even if they did trespass against you and did something, you still don't have the right to judge them. Like, and sometimes when we feel like we can take power into our own hands, people believe in the universe or higher power, different things. I believe in God, Jesus, but it's like that. It'll show you, like, the power is not in your hands; it's in my hands. And even with the enemy, when he is using his power, he shows him too. That's what he did with Job. Satan was coming back and forth into the world like a roaring lion, and then God was like, "Have you considered Job?" And he was like, "Nah." And he's like, but he thought, if you take away all the stuff you blessed him with, Job's gonna switch on you, and Job didn't. And he went through a lot, lost his children, everything. Everything was like crazy. But he said, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Naked I came into this world, naked I go. Like, that's hard, bro. That's like a hard fortitude mentality. People follow the Stoics and the Romans and all these like European ideologies, but when you really think about like our early tribe, like our people, like we had the mental fortitude to withstand the attacks of the enemy and still prosper, because we know that goodness and what the Lord intended comes first, and His anointed. He says, "Don't touch my children, don't touch my anointed." And we are anointed people. Like, we came from this earth. We were connected from this earth, like, and I pray God give me the opportunity to be able to have children one day, and have a son, to be able to like be connected, to like carry that forward. I see that more now as an honor. Like, it's a lot of power that Black men have, like, to be able to have a generation. We have generations in us, We're the link. We're the link to it all. So yeah, of course they're gonna come for us the way they come for us. Yeah, they going. You exercise the 100% of their power. That's because they're trying to take out generations. You know, like life lives in us. Like there's no reason why a black man should be depressed. He should. Every black man should feel like a king because that just because we have semen in us, like that's the proof. That's life, bro. You don't get. You can't manufacture that. You can't make it up nowhere else. That's the most vital. That's the most vital thing we have is life to be able to produce humans, create. Like you know what I'm saying? That's a blessing to be. We're blessed to be black men, and when we take up that honor, I feel like that power activates in us to where you can do what you was doing with me. You know, like see another black man and see me working out what I'm working out across the world and go, yo, you got this. Because you could recognize yourself, you know, and the same, and I can receive because I'm like, I can recognize you as someone who's like, is wise and has been the way and understands. And I'm like, yeah, there's a parallel, you know. So my other topic had to do with Unbeatable, you know, because what I look at, like, the best fighters and warriors have been the ones who I guess we regard as the ones that are undefeatable, like you can't beat them.
Right.
You know, so I mean, what is your take on that? Like, do you think it's like being unbeatable is a reality? Like we could live an undefeated life, pretty much.
Well, with that, being in a human, being a human being in this fleshly state, um, I guess that all depends on perspective.
Mm.
Because I mean, like and I told you this before. I told you this before. I said, man, what if you in a situation, I use it as a metaphor, like you fighting for the 100, what I'm saying, you fighting for the heavyweight championship, and you got $1 million purse. You got if you win, you getting $1 million and the belt. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be the number one. You're gonna be the champ. So it's round 4, and you get knocked down. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? You just gonna lay there? I mean, either way it go, you gonna win because you get 20 million if you lose, but you get 100 million if you win.
Mm.
Most people just take that fall, take that 20 million. But people like me and you, like we know who we are. Like we're not just gonna fall like that. That's the easy way out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
We gonna take the route that we came there for, because that goes back to the power of our mind. We gonna be able to speak that into existence. And
Mm.
being unbeatable is knowing that even though you may fall down, you gonna get back up every time. Cause look at life. I use my life as an example, man. I've been knocked down plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? And I have a phrase that I use sometimes. Say, I may be down, but I ain't pinned down. You know what I'm saying? So you can be unbeatable. It's a
Mm.
way to be unbeatable. And I just look at life like I use another metaphor like chess. You got to stay 2 or 3 moves ahead of the next person. You know what I'm saying? You got to always be planning the next thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Always stay busy. Always stay working on something that's positive and progress. You know what I'm saying? And conducive. And you'll be unbeatable. But once you get stuck in that way, and you like, I'm comfortable. I'm making $20,000 a month. I'm comfortable now. I ain't got to move around too much. And that's when you start to slip, and you get lazy, and you ain't training your brain no more. You ain't training your body. You ain't training your spiritual being anymore. You just sitting
Mm.
around being lazy, and you got to relax. That's when the next fighter that's gonna come up, or the next thing that's gonna come up, and it's gonna be hungry and ready to eat, and you gonna get eaten because you done got fat and lazy, and you sitting around not doing nothing mentally, physically, and spiritually, and emotionally. So that's why I feel. That's why I feel. The unbeatable. That's what unbeatable means to me.
No, that's powerful because it's been so long since, like, saying an analogy about like these, something that's young and hungry or hungrier, right? Like hunger has been something that, especially in our culture, in Black culture, like we've always operated with, right? Like we got the hunger for something, we can do it. We can, if we got the hunger to learn, the hunger to rap or to do whatever, we can just be creative. We can just find something, put it together. Like I mean, Outkast, you know, fucking. If you check out their story, Andre 3000 went through that all the time at the dungeon. It was like this constant battle of like, how do we get this sound perfect? And they inspired a whole generation, bro, to just linking up in the hood like where they always do, right? Like, so it can happen anywhere. But I think it's also too like part of that being like unbeatable has to do with being aware of your strength, aware of this plane that you talk about, like what you just said. That needs to be in the minds of a lot of black men or indigenous men who really are new generation, and they carry a lot of new generation stuff on their backs. You know, they carry the history, they carry a lot of that stuff because, you know, they say that the sins of the father get passed on to the son. You know, I think some of that has to do with just whatever left over, that gap is what the son has to fill out. You know what I'm saying? So, and we just be one people, we just be one man, you know, so, but one man could change the world, could do a lot, and I think we've proven that. So, if, say, like, in the case of, you know, we're using boxing and stuff like that, and you can last through the rounds, then you have a potential to win. So, that being unbeatable, though, I think also does come from getting your game right, getting your food game right, your workout game right, all those things. You know, I think there's a process because I feel like when we say we put all those things together, say we definitely do all those things, but life is still coming at us. You know, our plans get forward. You know, like for those groups of people who don't slip, but they still kind of fall. You know, that kind of shit. I always look at that as a thing out of your control. Like, say if you do line up like a whole workout plan, you line up your whole thing and you do it, you did your part. Now, if you slip on a day, then that's something, because something that makes you slip, you don't expect. So you might fall. Now, like you said, you can get back up again. But whatever gets us back up, I think that is so individual to each person, and that can make you unbeatable when you figure out what's going to get me off this canvas, like what's going to make me rise up. Because sometimes you can look around, be disoriented, and you see your kid's face, and they're sad, your wife, and your friends, and the ring. You see all these people, like what's going to get you to get out of this? And for some of us, it's like, at least for me, what gets me out of it and makes me get up would be remembering who I am. Like, I'd be like, oh shit, wait, hold up, I'm John. Like, John don't kiss the pavement, I kiss pretty women. Like, I get the fuck up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but for other people, it could be other things. It could be like, yo, I believe in this country. And they just get up or something. Like, I don't know. Like, but that makes you unbeatable. You ain't got to be the hardest hitter. You just got to be the nigga you can't keep down forever, you know?
Right.
So, like, I mean, if you really look at it, like, if we're going to be, say, the whole thing together, powerful and unbeatable, so that is a fantasy that people would say, but guess what? We also know that when it comes to racism and it comes to white supremacy, those kind of things seem powerful and unbeatable. But we have no choice but to war against things that try to oppress us, because some of us just can't be kept down, and some of us just can't not use our power. So where are we at in this sweet spot of life where it's like we got all this power, we got all this capacity, and nothing has been able to beat us as far as life goes. And when life has to throw at us, we pick ourselves up every fucking time. Now, what is the direction forward? What do we do at this moment when we realize how powerful and unbeatable we could be, how do we create a community around that? How do we create a community, a support community where other people can support each other in that journey? Because that collective power could only prosper each other, you know? I don't know what you think about that, but I'd love to hear your ideas because, you know, we've been talking a lot about community and a lot about bringing people together. So do you see that we could, like, somehow join people together in this effort? Like, what would that look like? Like,
man, I can envision it in my head right now, man. So I know it can happen. It's just a matter of time. But to change it I have to change myself first of all. Let's start there. I can't help the world. I can't do certain things in life. You know what I'm saying? So let me start there. You know what I'm saying? Work on myself. Once I worked on myself, if I decide to get a significant other, you know, we'll learn to work together. If she has already worked on herself, we can learn to work together, and then we can branch out to other people. And those other people that we branch out to, we have to stay in the same mind frame. You know what I'm saying? We have to stay in the same mindset. Okay, this is the mission. This is the end goal. But right now, this is the mission to get to the end goal. To keep everybody on that page. Start out with a briefing every day. Show them, you know, what's our ball plan for the day, just like football players do. You know what I'm saying? Draw out some plays and run them. And let them, and let your thoughts and your words that are spoken be manifested. And yes, I'm a high believer I'm a strong believer in a higher power. I just believe I'm just gonna follow the inner me though. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got enough information, man, from Baptist, Catholic, Methodist. I've also read the Quran. I'm working on the Torah. So basically, you know, and I'm also, you know, I think that I'm leaning more toward nature than anything. And I think that is the way for us, though, as a community. And we just have to be, one mindset, man. We get enough people in one mindset, man, and that's what the embodiment of Christ is. All of us in one. You know what I'm saying? And only together can we survive. We gotta think about that. It's not gonna be just, these 10 people over here. You know, it's gotta be a collective of us. That's the only way we gonna survive, because this next thing that's coming up, man, the next wave of evil that's coming, because you can see it, the Bible is starting to play out now. You can see the evil is coming in waves now. You know, and you can see it, bro. Yeah, you can see it. And I'm not physically saying like, oh yeah, you see somebody walking up to you and he got horse legs and he's red and he got a pitchfork in his hand, he got horns. I ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just clarifying it. I know you know that, but I'm just clarifying it for the people out there. But at the end of the day, man, we gotta learn that, man. Only together we're gonna survive, because we have so much that's pulling us apart. You know what I'm saying? We are our own worst enemies. That's why I say inner me, INNER equals enemy, ENEMY. We are our own biggest enemy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say we have to work on ourselves first, and then work on relationships, build relationships after that. But you can't have a good, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say you can't have an excellent impact where your impact is almost a form of perfection if you're not straight within yourself and you're not confident and you're not insecure. You know what I'm saying? And you are insecure, not. And you have all these negative attributes that override the positive, and you bring it into this new vent.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And I think a lot of people need to start taking more time for themselves and take them phones and just throw them away. Just get back to where we used to be for a little while, just maybe 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So we can learn how to be ourselves again, because we don't know who we are no more. We're not even tapped into the ground anymore. Nobody walks around with their shoes off in the grass, in the dirt. Nobody does that. They call it the soul of your foot. They call it the soul for a reason. It's called the soul because that's where your soul starts, on the sole of your feet. If I chop both my feet off right now, I won't have a soul. So at the end of the day, man, it's just about it's just about us, man, being in the same mind frame, working towards all the same goals, and distributing things amongst our tribe. We'll be better as a people. It just takes time.